Gather around the table once again for another session of Dungeons and Drakfus, and today we're taking on the second raid in Cataclysm launch content. And people might remember the place that we are at right now. This looks kind of familiar, doesn't it? When Cataclysm retooled the world, they decided to also include this little gem, which is Nefarian's Throne. So now the end of Blackwing Lair actually exists out in the world, as it probably should. But it also exists because technically we're going back in. The next raid was, the way that Blizzard put it, an inspiration of it was a raid inspired by the original Blackwing Lair, thus called Blackwing Descent. And so let's go ahead and go over the lore before we get started. Nefarian and his warped attempts to create a new breed of dragon were thought to be defeated after his death in Blackwing Lair. Yet tales have emerged that his father Deathwing has reanimated Nefarian and set him to work in Blackwing Descent. The gruesome experiments being conducted there are feared to be a level of wickedness far surpassing Nefarian's previous crimes against nature. Yes, so we're gonna go ahead and go on in, and I just want to make sure I've got my raid difficulty set up into Blackwing Descent, where Nefarian has been reanimated. And I mean, remember, his experiments were to create the chromite dragonflight. So worse than that, worse than trying to bring the dragonflights together. But we also do have some fights that are roughly inspired by Blackwing Lair.
Welcome to my personal sanctum, heroes. I hope you will find the accommodations to your liking. Herein you will find many of my failed experiments, and ultimately, my greatest triumph.
Okay, I want to explain something really quick. I know that they said that it was inspired by Blackwing Lair, and I'm not saying that certain points aren't inspired by Blackwing Lair, but this doesn't really feel like Blackwing Lair. I'm just going to point that out right here and now. That's kind of one of my beefs with this place. I did like it back when it launched, but now coming back to it, I just kind of sit there and go, where was the inspiration? I just don't get it. Well, let's go ahead and get things started with the first boss of Blackwing Descent, and as you can see, we already have some black dragonflight here trying to start crap up. And also, happy Tuesday, everybody. I hope everybody's having a good week so far. Oh, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and turn off the auto loop, because the Ember Silk is just going to sit in my inventory. So, before we pull these... Can I actually pull these guys without pulling him? I think I can. Yes. We'll go ahead and kill them first. There we go. Okay, so this is actually the first boss of Blackwing Descent, and his format actually came back in Legion for a boss there. Well, let's go ahead and go over the lore of Magma. Magma is a colossal lava worm summoned from the Firelands centuries ago by Ragnaros' dark iron servitors. Nefarian largely considers Magma a worrisome pest, but has grown fond of feeding the beast his failed experiments and servants. Alright, so let's go ahead and take on Magma. Now, I technically could be taking this on Heroic, but I'm just gonna be honest with you guys, not a whole lot changes in the area. Or not a whole lot changes with the fight or in the raid with Heroic mode. So we're going to be taking this on in normal 25-man mode just to get things going. Boom! Takes a little bit more effort than usual, but I'm okay with it. Let's see, anything that we don't have already? Nope. So we're not going to worry about all that stuff because we're not going to sell it. At least not on you. I'm not worried about your economy.
Finally, someone to deal with that unsightly pest. You have my thanks, heroes.
Yeah, that's the other thing that's going to change here is that Nefarian is going to kind of taunt us throughout this entire experience. And just let us know that he's okay with us taking care of all of these problems for him. And now we're moving on into the... You could technically do either Magma or this guy first. I do Magma first, just because I actually find him to be a little easier. There we go. Oh, there we go. Okay, where the heck are you? We'll figure this out. There we are. So here is the next boss, which is the Omnitron Defense System. This is actually kind of a fun fight back in the day. So here's the lore for it. The Omnitron Defense System was once touted as the Dark Iron Dwarf's greatest technological marvel. When Nefarian arrived in Blackwing Descent, he repurposed the rundown system to annihilate anyone intruding on his laboratories. And so you actually have 4 bots. So you have Magmatron, I think it was Arcanotron. Oh, I can't remember them all. Electron and... Oh, I want to say like Positron for poison, but I don't think that's right. Doesn't matter because they're going to die. So here we go. Bye-bye. Oh. Teaches you how to summon Tinytron. Okay. That's probably something I will send off to. Probably send that off to Andrea in the next little bit. Okay.
That malfunctioning piece of junk was murder on the repair bills.
Was he? Okay, good. So, yeah, let's see. We had Electron, we had Toxitron. That was what it was. Toxitron, Arcanotron, Electron, and Magmatron. So you basically had to deal with poison damage, electric damage, arcane damage, and fire damage. Even though technically poison and electricity are both nature damage, but I think Toxitron was more along the lines of like puddles that could instantly kill you. Kind of deal. I'm actually going to save that for Andrea and see if she needs it. So now with these 2 taken care of, we get the most infamous boss of Blackwing Descent, the elevator boss, at least in my raids. Because people always misjudged like where the elevator was and therefore would kill themselves. And therefore we'd have to wait a little bit longer. Oh, but look at that. We already have dragons of other flights being touted on display. And this goes into the main area, the Vault of the Shadow Flame. With even more black drakes that we now have to worry about. And I'm going to take on this guy next because he's kind of the one I'm worried about. Not the dragon, but the next boss. So we're going to take on Pyrecraw to get him out of the picture. Holy crap! Baby girl! I'm going to murder you! Oh! Man, she gave my heart a jump. She really did. Yeah, let's go ahead and close that. Well, baby girl got me. I can't necessarily deny that. All right, moving on into the next boss. And this one is kind of a new and unique design in the Den of the Devourer. This is a unique experiment from Nefarian called Chimeron. And let's go ahead and go over his lore. Terrifying, ugly, evil, kill it. Yes, that's appropriate for him. So, the massive problem with Chimeron, at least for a lot of raids, was he has an ability called Massacre, I think it was what it was called, and it takes everybody down to like 10% health. And tanks actually had to deal with like a double strike too, so like not only would it do Massacre, but then it'd do a double hit to... No, sorry. It takes the tanks down to 1, because it does like a massive amount of damage and you could survive up until 1 HP, and then it would strike you again and that would kill you off. But Massacre would just do a ton of damage. But you'll notice that we have a Biolotron and we have Finkel Einhorn. And this is actually how you start up the fight. So let's go ahead and talk to him. Leaping leper gnomes, you're a sight for...
I'm trapped in here!
You're a sight for sore eyes. I was worried about the giant magma worm out front that would deter visitors. Now that you're here, you can give me a hand. I suppose you'll be needing a key for this cage. Wait, don't tell me. The horrific gibbering monster behind me ate it, right? What? Of course not. I could easily escape this simple contraption, but I'm much too busy. See, a while back, I spent a few months inside the belly of a beast. You were trapped, as I recall. This situation seems oddly similar. It wasn't strictly voluntary, but I discovered something truly incredible. The beast seemed to be able to consume almost anything with no ill effects. Gnomes in lava suits, for example? Exactly. I ran some tests on the residual digestive fluid coating my suit and... Finkel trails off. Say, you haven't seen my skinning knife anywhere, have you? Seem to have misplaced it. No, I haven't seen it. You were saying? Oh yes, the bile. It's amazing stuff. With the proper catalysts, it renders anything to which it's applied practically immortal. I've been harvesting it with my reprogrammed Bilotron 800, and I'm certain I've got the mixture right this time. I just need a few volunteers to test it out against a suitable creature. What do you say, friend? Immortality subject to certain restrictions. Restrictions? What restrictions? Oops, that lever activates the Bilotron, and if you happen to come across the key...
Alrighty then.
Yeah, so this actually starts up Chimeron. Who, as you can see, is like a really nasty model. I actually really like it. So, boom! Wakey, wakey, exit wakey! There we go. Full of sound and fury. Anything that we don't have? Oh, I don't have
Great
these
job,
list
He
items.
should be in his gut somewhere. Just, fish around in there until you find it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that.
Impressive. You managed to destroy one of my most horrific creations. A task I had thought impossible until now.
You're welcome! So let's see. Collect any class armor set from the Bastion of Twilight. Oh, okay, alright. So I just got Glamour of Twilight for Transmog. Anything else we need? Nope. So there goes Chimeron. And the next boss that we're going to be taking on is down the way, and actually, in my opinion, one of the other cool bosses of the Cataclysm launch. Sadly, he was kind of broken for a long time, though. So let's go ahead and take on Atromades next. And we might as well just drag these guys along. Come along. We'll grab you two. Bye-bye. Oh, Claws of Agony. And I don't actually have this one. Let's see what it looks like. Oh, I like that. Dragon Claw. I'll take it. Cool. I haven't collected this appearance. Do I actually have to wear it? Yes, you do. So I'll take that off now. And put on my Fists of the Heavens again. So now we get to take on Atromades. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to take him on because there's a little bit of lore with him from the other boss. So let's go ahead and take him on next. So that things kind of make sense. Oh, excuse me. As you guys can tell, it is cold and flu season, so... kind of got me going a little bit. Plus the fact that it's winter. Oh, hi there, buddy. Kick you in the butt! But hey, at least we took care of the trash, so we don't actually have to worry about anything else in here trash-related. So the next boss that we're going to be taking on is actually Maloriak. He is the head researcher for Nefarian. And before we step in, because again, I love that design. That's really cool. But let's go ahead and go over his lore. The human Mallory was a bright young alchemist until he was kidnapped by Nefarian and fused with the corpse of dragon spawn. The result, Maloriak, is a bumbling minion who possesses only a dull glimmer of his former intelligence. So, yeah. He's kind of like the head researcher. Didn't really work out so well. Hi, Maloriak! Let's go and kill you.
Be no disruptions. Mustn't keep the master waiting to us and fail allegations. Must be tested. Face now, my prime subjects.
Yeah, I'm not worried about your prime subjects anymore. Let's see. I actually used to have to tank those. That was an example of tank kiting.
We
Yay!
never did see eye to eye. Good riddance, I say.
So now that we've taken care of Maloriak, we're actually going to see what he considers to be his greatest achievement. And how Nefarian would tend to disagree. And actually, I was not right. There actually is additional trash in here for Atromades. So we'll go ahead and take care of them, and then we get to have a little bit of an event, so I figured we'll probably introduce Maloriak first. And now we're in the Athenaeum. Or Athenaeum, I think is how you say it. All you have to do for this trash is just kill off these spirits. There we go. And as you can see, there's lots of dwarven thrones, because these are actually spirits of former kings, and ancient dwarven shields. And a big bell in the back, by the way. That's not good. So let's go ahead and take care of these other spirits, and this will trigger the event. Just gather them all up. There we go. Oh, and look at that. A little whelpling from Maloriak.
Maloriak. How gracious of you to finally appear from that quarantine you call a laboratory. What have you got this time?
My sincerest apologies for the disturbance, my liege. But I believe I have something you may be very interested in.
By all means, enlighten me.
Yes, yes! By extracting agents from the blood of various dragonflights, I have created a salve that will bestow the wearer sight beyond sight! Senses beyond this realm of mortality! Atramedes, your master beckons! I present to you experiment number 25463-D!
Oh no, that didn't work out so well.
It appears as though your experiment has failed. That whelp has gone completely blind. Look at him. Look at him!
How could this be? I will dispose of him immediately!
No.
Aww.
Not yet. This object of your chagrin may still prove valuable to me. Leave now, pathetic alchemist. I anxiously await your next failure.
As you can see,
Yes,
Nefarian
my lord.
just doesn't like Maloriak. So that actually, let's go into the lore of Atramedes now that we have that. Atramedes, or Experiment 25463-D, is a failed attempt to bestow enhanced senses on a black dragon whelp. The toxic salve applied to the broodling robbed him of sight, forcing him to rely on sound and smell for survival. A tragic story, if Atramedes weren't so evil. So, I don't know if you actually could see this in the event, but occasionally you can see some wings back in the background. That's where Atramedes is, and he only knows if you're here if you, well, call him. So here we go, Ancient Bell. Let's call the guy. Oh, that's a nasty looking Drake right there, isn't it? And he melts the bell as you come in. That's actually really cool, I love that. So his fight was really cool because, again, he's blind, so you actually had a sound gauge. and if you hit 100 sound, he knew where you were. And he instantly killed you. There we go. So yeah, he'd send out these waves and that would increase your sound. And if you hit 100, you're dead. He will kill you. It doesn't matter if you can actually see the sound gauge right here. I took a little bit of sound damage. He would literally like stop attacking the tank. Like the tank would have no aggro and he'd kill you.
Unnecessary.
Yeah, well. Oh, we don't have that one. And that's it. And the other cool part was he actually drops a shield. Yeah, it was a shield called Kingdom's Heart. So nice little Kingdom Hearts reference right there. We didn't get him to drop it this time, but yeah, it was actually a really fun fight in my opinion, and really well designed, or at least well thought out on paper. Did it work out as well? No. In fact, Atramedes was probably one of the most bugged bosses for most of the launch, and it took many, many, many bug fixes to at least get him tolerable. So that's something to deal with. But now that we've taken care of all of Nefarian's minions, it's time to take on Nefarian. As you can see, Lord Victor Nefarious is standing right across from us. So let's go ahead and use this Orb of Culmination. A large humanoid handprint is embedded on the surface of the orb. A soft green glow seems to pulse within, so place my hand on the orb.
The heroes have made it to the glorious finale. I take it you are in good spirits, prepared for the final battle. Then gaze now upon my ultimate creation. Rise, sister.
Wait, what? What?
Behold the broodmother, Onyxia, reborn. Perhaps my finest work. My dearest sibling, do you...
Oh, he gets cut off. That's dumb. Yeah, he was saying, do you hunger? Then feast upon our enemies. So this next fight is really cool, at least in my opinion, because basically two premier WoW raid bosses got duoed together. So you actually can face a zombified Onyxia. So she's long since dead, and she's been resurrected by Nefarian. And you get to face the resurrected Nefarian, too. Also, fun fact, if you actually didn't touch that Orb of Culmination and tried to take out Lord Victor Nefarious, he does put a debuff on you that will kill you pretty fast. So you want to make sure to do that. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and take care of Onyxia and Nefarian. So let's go ahead and do the lore really quick for it. Or Nefarian, the encounter is actually called Nefarian's End. Deathwing's son Nefarian gained infamy for his horrifying efforts to create chromatic dragons from the essences of Azeroth's various dragonflights. After his death in Blackwing Lair, he was reanimated and charged by Deathwing to continue his insidious efforts, and thus resurrected his sister to help him carry out that goal. So, the way that this is actually supposed to go is, like, you're supposed to start working on Onyxia, and then eventually Nefarian will come down, and then you have two dragons to worry about. So you guys will see how the fight works as we go along. Sorry, Onyxia. It doesn't take a whole lot of effort for me to kill you. And the other thing that you had to worry about was these animated bone warriors. They would, so they would occasionally reanimate, especially if Nefarian hit them with his attacks. Whee! Okay, I gotta get out of the way.
Curse you mortals. Such callous disregard for one's possessions
I know, right?
met with extreme force.
And for that, he actually lowers the platform and puts lava out. Now we have to deal with these chromatic proto-welds, while also making sure to do as much damage as we possibly can to Nefarian. Oh, man. I don't even know if I can actually do damage to Nefarian now. Oh, boy. Okay. Unfortunately, my only ability is Crackling Jade Lightning. It's not really doing too much to him. Can I at least come up and try and hit him? Yes, I can. Okay, so the air crackles with electricity. The other thing that he would do is every 10%, he would hit you with these crackling electricity, instantly taking away 10% of your health. Yes, it was meant to do that.
Tried to be an economy.
Did you now?
Simply will not.
It's time for you to die, Nefarian.
Kill them all.
Boom. Wow, I almost died. I'm not even gonna lie. Because I came in here with a melee class thinking I could actually do Crackling Jade Lightning to bring him down. Nope. All right, let's go ahead and loot him and see what we got. Now, this actually would drop another tier 11 token. That was the other thing I forgot to mention with Alec here. He does drop a tier token, but it's random. This one's fixed. It's the helm. Let's see. Endoros Fist of the Dragon King. I don't have this. Ooh, that's actually a cool looking mace. Let's grab that. And that's all I needed. So that is actually it for Blackwing Descent. So that's actually going to go ahead and do it for this video. When we come back, we will be taking on the final and probably the most unique raid in the Cataclysm launch as we delve into heroic Bastion of Twilight. We'll see you guys then.